Random protests in the street are not effective because if they're peaceful, they're ignored, and if they're violent, they're vilified.
She is absolutely right. One of the things that I internalized watching the Occupy Wall Street protests way so many years ago, people need to go back and study that, why that was ineffective. But one of the things I internalized was the fact that protests are highly ineffective in the ways that we really need them to immediately be, because they are ignorable. The people in power respond to power. It's why they have arisen and seized and fought to maintain power and positions of control. So what people need to realize is it's not the protest. Now, the protest can be effective, but you have to realize it's going to be a micro protest that inconveniences that gets the attention and inconveniences those with power, the power to do something. Go back and watch her video. If you're on YouTube, I can just put a comment and I'll post her original video on my page. But people need to realize is that power responds to power. If you want to be taken seriously, arise, seize, and maintain power. Nobody really cares about your passion projects. Nobody really cares about who you're screaming about is being genocided all around the world, because if it's of no consequence to them, if it doesn't bring them power, if what you're doing doesn't inconvenience them, they don't care. It's why when people, I don't advise people to go out and risk your life at a protest. Go seize power. Go inconvenience those with power and the ability to affect change. Inconvenience wherever they are. Force them to listen to you. Get out there where they are. They're all trying to be all authoritarian and they're going to be trying to push you out of the room and arrest you and all that kinds of stuff. But that's good trouble. Okay? Follow your own. Go get an attorney and follow your own legal advice and that advice of that counsel. But if you're wondering what form of protest that you should engage in, arise and seize power. And while you're working on strategizing about how to arise and seize power, go inconvenience, influence, and control those with power. They should feel no comfort. If you are being denied and the people that you care about are being denied basic human rights, this is all that we as patriots have been screaming about. Basic human rights. Y'all have to forgive me. It just gets a little frustrating. You must understand that your unifying cause from here on out, your unifying thing that unifies you all, is that you are patriots fighting to protect the Constitution. You are human beings. You are heroes fighting to protect people's basic human rights. All this rest of this stuff and this confusion about what flag we're going to protest with, how we're going to do this and that and the other, and who's protesting, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Go inconvenience those with power. Go seize their power. And once you start taking out people who have power and control, I'm not talking about physically harming them. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is take their power. If you want to be taken seriously, I've made a video that was really popular. It blew up when I was talking about how the reason why people who are protesting for the human rights of those being genocided around the world weren't being taken seriously. And it's because the politicians, the people with power, could not count on you to vote for them and to protect their power and their position when they stand up and fight for your cause. If they can't take you seriously, just let me give you this quick example really quickly. The reason why politicians listen to those with money, because those with money understand how to game the system. People with money are going to ensure that you keep your power if you allow yourself to be lobbied and yourself to ally with those with money who have a form of power and currency that can get you elected. Reason why all y'all jumping up and going and protesting, risking your lives and losing your lives for nothing is because you are going about getting what you want in the wrong way. The reason why anti-intellectualism is such a powerful tool that is being used, you can see this mess being pushed by conservatives everywhere. They want you dumb. They don't want you to know that you got to arise and seize power and seize it perpetually. You got to do what it takes to seize that power. They don't want you to internalize that. They don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to have the intellectual capacity to counter what's being told to you. Nor do they want you to have the intellectual capacity to go and re-educate the masses about what they've been lying about. So you guys go on. You can go out there and throw rocks and do whatever. Like, I love a bit of good trouble. I think it's important that the people who are living on this stolen land realize that it was stolen and realize. Sometimes you gotta re-educate people with your left and right fist. I get it. But I don't think violence is the answer. The problem is that the violence that it took to form this nation, the murder, the uprooting, the destruction, the stealing of land, all of that was violent. Now those who are, so I can wrap this up because it's been going a little long. Now those who are the descendants of those who were violent, who violently took part in the violence of a protest, the violence of overturning those who would seek to tax them without actually giving them any form of representation, the violence that it took to unalive the people who actually own the land, the violence that it took and the murder that it took to create this country and to forcibly work people for free. And oh, by the way, they're engaging in that again. You know, y'all been paying attention to how they want to round up these immigrants, put them in private prisons that are government funded, and private detention centers, so that, oh yeah, these people who are working hard that they took off the work site and that they took out of the fields, they now can lease. Oh, we don't even need to go that far because I'll have to talk on that for too long. Pay attention to what she's saying. Pay attention to what she's saying and arise and seize power. Stop doing this thing to where you go out and you protest and then you get tired of it and you lose interest in it. That's why they don't take you seriously. That's why people with power don't take you seriously. So I will continue to yell from my little corner of the internet over here to tell y'all, you need to arise and seize power perpetually. People who are the psychos of our world understand that, and they do it. And so they then try to implement stupid things in America, like trying to create a king out of Trump. I mean, Yarvin, have y'all seen my video on Yarvin? Yeah, God. Mediocre, minimally melanated incels shouldn't have the loudest voice, especially when they're seeking to make a nation that fought and patriots died to get away from kings to reinstitute another one. But anyway.